Yeah, that was, actually had a game last year against Staten Island. We struck out 18 times in a 13-inning game and won 2-1. So, but you're right, it doesn't happen very often. Our defense has been ugly at times through this first week of the season. I saw in the stats that they were last in the league in defense, and tonight didn't help it any. But I mean, the game tonight starts with our pitching because I mean, both Polsha and Valdez, when you have to get more than 3 outs in an inning, usually something bad's going to happen. That's why they only get 3. And with the 2 boots we had in that last inning, Valdez had to get 5 outs, and that's not an easy thing to do. But to his credit, he did it. And you know, but I thought our pitching was outstanding, as was theirs. Their starter will probably be, when I meet with our team tomorrow, that'll probably be as good a pitcher as we will see all year. And our guys are going to have to realize that if they want to move up and get to the big leagues, they're going to have to get to where they can handle a guy like that, because he overmatched our whole team except for Sienna. You know, Sienna had 2 great at-bats against them with the double and then lining out to third, but no, the rest of the team we were overmatched. But it was, you know, I mean, we've had 2 extra inning games, both went 12, we won them both, so they're character builders, which is a good thing. And you know, you gotta give credit to Jeff Diehl. He doesn't really have a starting spot with the personnel we have right now, but he's making the most of his at bats. And you know, to hit an oppo double off the wall in right center to win the game in the 12th was terrific. And it was really good for us because we had 1 pitcher left, and that was it. We had Montgomery for 2 innings, and after that we were out of pitching. So I'm glad it didn't come to that. And with Badamo going tomorrow and a couple of relievers that threw yesterday, so we should be fine for tomorrow. But so nevertheless, it's always good to win, and it's about development. These guys are going to make mistakes, and you hope that they learn from their mistakes and that they get better as we go along. I thought Alfredo Reyes made probably the play of the season so far on the ball up the middle, that he did a 360 and threw a bazooka to first base and got the guy out. And then late in the game, in extra innings, he booted 2 of the easiest plays that he'll get all year. I mean, a double play ball where he was literally standing on the base at second, he took his eye off it and put us in a 1st and 3rd no-out situation, which Polsha did a phenomenal job getting out of. And to Alfredo's credit, he started an inning double play, and then the first hitter of the 12th inning is just a routine ground ball, and once again he just pulled off it and put us in a jam. So, you know, he's a youngster that's trying to figure it out, but he played so good defensively down in Florida. We just expect him to make the routine play, and he's definitely in a little bit of a fielding slump here out of the gate.
Missigman was kind of the unsung hero also, getting out the bases loaded jam in the 5th.
It was terrific. Yeah, he gave us 3 1/3 innings, and yeah, like I say, even, you know, Celis walked 6, and it's his first outing at this level. So you know, he might have been a little unsure of himself, feeling, but he only gave up a couple hits and 1 run, and got us through, you know, almost 5 innings. So we liked his stuff, and I think he'll be a little bit more poised and better control the next time out. But certainly everybody else, Missigman, Polsha, Valdez, I mean, hats off to those guys, because they put us in position to be able to win the game by getting them out.
8 strikeouts, only 4 hits allowed by Missigman, Polsha, Valdez, and even Celis, he pitched very well despite the 6 walks. What did you think of his performance despite being erratic a little bit with his control, making the right pitch in the right spot?
Yeah, well, Celis is a guy that came on late down in extended spring training. He wasn't on the radar to make this team, but the last 3 weeks down in Florida, my gosh, he started throwing in the 92 to 93 range, and started throwing his breaking ball. I mean, he had some real good outings where he put himself on the radar to make this club. And I think, but you know, pitching under the lights in front of a big group, this is all new to him. So like I said, we were wondering how he was going to handle it. Obviously, Canelone did not handle it well last night, and the results showed. But to Sellis's credit, his stuff was real good tonight. He was in trouble every inning because he would walk one or two and then have to pitch his way out of it. And unfortunately, he hit 90 pitches at 4 2/3 innings, and that's the most we're allowed to have anybody throw. That's why we had to get him when we did. And as you mentioned, when Missigman came in with the bases loaded, a base hit right there, and we're out of that game. But you know, he got a comebacker and shut the door and took us to the 8th, and so it was good, real good pitcher's duel, and you know, it's nice that we come out on top. And we got Connecticut tomorrow, and Connecticut kept us from making the playoffs last year. We tied with them, but they swept us 3 straight at their place. Just one win, and we would have been in. So hopefully we can play well against them this series.
In the first week of the New York Penn League season, lots of fluctuating results. 14-run outburst by Brooklyn 2 nights ago. A 16-hit barrage last night by Tri-City. You're seeing all these different results.
Right.
Do you think that some of this has to do with a short development cycle for some of these players down in Florida? Some guys, a couple of draft picks that are going to be coming up, and just not having a lot of time to work with these guys. Why? Maybe that's the reason that you're seeing some of the fluctuation and just a lot of variations with the results so far.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, you know, the season with the draft, I know when we got here last Tuesday, we had 3 days to work out here with the drafted players, and the other teams in the league were in the same boat. So 3 days isn't a lot to get your whole team to gel and you know, where you want it. But you know, it's just kind of ironic that you're right that, you know, we blew them out 14-0 the first game. They blew us out yesterday with 16 hits, and now today we had a low-scoring pitcher's duel. That's just kind of the way it is in rookie ball. Except last year, I don't remember us winning a blowout game until the last home game of the season. I think we beat the Yankees like 15-3. I don't remember us having a one-sided game. It seemed like we were in every game a close one all the way. So it was nice to get a blowout win early and get everybody into the game. The plus is, after 6 games, we've gotten everybody on our active roster, you know, has pitched, has played, where they've gotten that nervousness out, and now we can just focus on baseball. And and 2 of our drafts that have joined the club but are not activated yet. We hope to have them by Friday, which is David Thompson, our 4th-round third baseman who led the nation this year in home runs and RBIs with 19 and 90. We're hoping to have him by Friday, and P.J. Conlon, a left-handed pitcher. If we can get those 2 guys activated, then we'll have our whole team intact.
How proud of you of the bullpen? They've had a couple of long innings already. How proud of you that they've been performing this well?
Very much so. And Dave LaRoche does a great job of letting those guys know what their roles are going to be, and how they're, when they figure to be in a game, so that they're already mentally getting ready in the bullpen. They're never caught off guard and all of a sudden asked to win the game. And I think as we pile up more games, these guys will, you know, they'll get a real good feel for how we're using not only the rotation but the guys in the bullpen. They've done a terrific job, and everybody in the pen has 2 appearances. Carlos Valdez was the first one to get his 3rd appearance tonight. All 3 have been good, and it was nice to see him get a well-deserved win in this game tonight.
What was with that double play in the 6th? Same 5-2-5 rundown?
Yeah, well, that was, you know, I mean, when you have 1st and 3rd and nobody out, you have to go on a ground ball to give up 1 out to save 2. So that's why Tharp was going from 3rd base. Unfortunately, we had a base running mishap. It was Reyes that was at 3rd base. When Reyes got caught in the rundown, if the rundown can last long enough, you hope that the trail runners can advance. But in that case, the rundown wasn't long enough, and Ramos, although, you know, at least it was an aggressive mistake, but it was at the wrong time. It would have been much nicer to have 1st and 2nd and 1 out rather than 2 outs and a runner at 1st base. So yeah, we had a little base running gaffe there in addition to our 4 fielding errors. So we'll try to clean that up tomorrow.
You were talking earlier in the year that you're going to be doing different lineups throughout until you feel the team is gelled. Are you expecting to do so tomorrow when the series against Connecticut starts, or do you think you'll use the?
No, I already know what tomorrow's lineup will be, and there'll be some more changes to my. Yeah, like I said that when we talked opening night, the first 15 games, that first 12 to 15 games, we're trying to evaluate all the guys, watching them play. There's no doubt that Sienna is a lock to be in that 2-hole. I mean, he is a consummate team player, and he's off to a very, very good start. The rest of it we're trying to work out. We've used both Zavala and Tharp in the leadoff role. Tucker had a great game, getting on base 5 times with 4 hits and 1. And there's just a lot of uncertainties, but like once they get enough at bats, their performance will make it real easy for me to dictate who's going to be where. And as I mentioned, although Diehl came into this without a bona fide spot because of other people playing in front of him, it doesn't take a genius to see that he'll definitely be in the lineup again, tomorrow.
One of your most consistent hitters has been Michael Bernal. Tonight he was in the original lineup, but then he was scratched. Any reason why he was out there?
Yeah. Mike had a little bit of a tight hamstring, and it was just enough that we thought it would be better to deal with it and treat it now rather than maybe have him try to beat out a double play ground ball and pull it where we lose him for a week. So sacrifice a battle to win the war. So I would like to think with the start that he's off to that he'll be back in there tomorrow. But I would say that at the most, because it is so minor, if he's not in there tomorrow, he would definitely be back in the next day. So it's going to be a very short-term thing.
What's happening with Perez, who took the golden sombrero tonight?
Yeah, we've had him out for early hitting, and it's been a struggle for Pedro, and it was a struggle down in Florida as well. So I mean, it's just the hitting coaches. Unir and Fonzie, they're working with him, and Pedro might be trying a little bit too hard, but we're doing what we can. He's a youngster that's trying to figure it out, but he has a lot of trouble with the breaking ball, as you can see. So we'll just keep working with him.
Walk us through that inning where you got the walk-off hit.
Just focusing on getting a good pitch to hit and drive. First pitch fastball, left it over the plate, middle of the way, and just drove to right field to drive in the winning run.
What have you been doing this year early in the season? You've had a 400 batting average. Have you been taking extra work in the cage? What have you done to get off to such a fast start?
I actually developed a routine with Ellie, one of our hitting coordinators, and so far so good. It's been really helping me out. I'm in the cage every morning, working hard, and so far it's been paying off.
It's a little tricky. You expect maybe to be intentionally walk if the bunt goes down properly, and now you're up with the guy on first.
Yeah, I just try to remain focused and just stick with my plan. That was just getting a pitch to drive, and fortunately enough, he left the pitch over the plate, and I was able to drive it.